All right, hello and welcome everybody to another live bone throwing presentation with Kay. My name is Helmut. We started a little over an hour ago. Kay threw the bones. We stated the question, and Kay has been studying the throw for about an hour. And the question for today is about unconditional love. What is it? How can we learn to own and live it? How will owning and living it change our individual lives and our relationships, and with it, the lives of the people around us? And how will living unconditional love affect the future of the world we are creating? Those are the questions we presented to the Bone Spirits, and here's Kay. He's going to share what they have to say about this. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. It is very nice to be here. An honor to be able to throw the bones for you once again. This is quite a spectacular question, very, very different than the usual thing that we end up seeing the bones being asked. So I'm going to start in our usual fashion here. There's a protocol with the bones of what steps to take, what to talk about first and second and third. And so here, for those who are able to see the video, there in the middle here is the longest, skinniest bone, very long, skinny bone. It's the longest of its type here in the middle of the bundle. And that is called the pointer, the first pointer. Now, this first pointer is going horizontally through the torso area. Now, on the fabric that the bones are thrown on, there is a figure, sort of human-ish, stylized figure, but it has two heads. There's a head up at the top, which is farther away from me, and head at the bottom, which is closer to me. If you folded the image up in the middle, horizontally, that would be the horizontal midline that goes straight through the center of the torso of the figure. And that torso has concentric circles. The arms, hands, feet, legs are sticking out to the sides, and you can see an image of this on the website, the ground of what that looks like. And we should have a picture of this bone throw up when the audio gets posted so that you'll be able to kind of follow along and see what I'm talking about when things are pointing this way or that way. So here's the first pointer. The first thing to be talked about, it is going horizontally. It's kind of parallel to that midline, the horizontal midline through the torso. It starts way over on the left, right in the wrist of the left hand arm area, and is pointing over toward the vertical midline and touching that vertical midline right in the middle of the torso. These pointer bones create an energy line going off of either end. And it always starts on one particular end and is pointing in one direction. So the way this one is pointing from left to right. And that line comes out off the left side of the body. It goes through the wrist area. There's a little bone right there by the pointer. It goes into the torso and then keeps going off to the right side and into the right hand. And there's a bone over there by the right hand. So the first thing that is talked about, it's answering, what is unconditional love? And this little bone here that is in that line, the energy line off of the first pointer, it's in the wrist, that is a person's center of their being, the sacred center place, the center of the world. This is the center balance point, place. if we know who and what we are cleared of all of our society's junk, the masks, and our habits and our blindness, then we are in our center, our true center. That's what this piece is. So the story starts with talking about our center, our true center. When we are in that center place, this is what the Whitakers call being in one's own song. You are in your clarity, knowing who you are, what you are. You know what you're here for, what your purpose is. There are no more masks. Being in the center means being awake. Being awake, being free of all of society's shoulds, all of the programming, all of the masks that come out of that programming. And here we are, we're in a very clear, centered place. We're right on where the wrist is, where this hand is meeting the arm. The symbolism for the hand is a tool. If something's in the hand, this is a tool that you have. You have finesse. You can operate it. You can do things with it. You can take action in the world with it. So here it is. The center is in the hand. We have use of it. We have control of it, over it. Things are not controlling us. We are in our center, and we are controlling ourselves and the things around us. That's the starting point, being in one's center, clearly, cleanly. It's a tool. It's a gift. It's what we are with pure purposefulness and clarity. Now the arm represents strength and power, being able to operate things within yourself, within the world. It gives the power behind the hand to be able to take action. So here it is in both of these places, and it's on the beginning of this line. So as we follow the energy line, we're moving from the hands through the wrist, through this little piece, through the arm, going into the left side of the torso. Now the left, this is my left here. All of this here is left. Over on the other side, this is all the right side. Everything on the left side has to do with the non-linear. It is the female energy, non-linear. Things that operate outside of time and space. Things that have to do with our connectedness to everything in the universe, to the truth of who and what we are, to being connected to the greater part of our totality, our beingness, our song. And we're talking about how the bones have spread out, how they've laid out, and how they tell a story. And we're on the first part of the story, the first storyline here. And it's answering, what is unconditional love? And unconditional love stems from our center, from the center point of who and what we are, the center of the universe. We hear that phrase talked about in a lot of ancient texts and religious texts, about the center of the world, the center of the universe, the place where the tree of life grows, that kind of thing. That's what we're talking about. The absolute center, the energetic, spiritual center. And this means of yourself as an individual and as a group, as all of humanity. So we are following this energy line here that this long, skinny bone makes. The center of who and what you are, being in your center, being able to manipulate it, control it, use it, be it, have it at your disposal, not hiding it from yourself, not having it lost from yourself and your awareness, but waking up to owning it. That's where the story starts. That's unconditional love stems from that space that energetic perfection. As we move down the line here, we were talking about everything that is on the left side is nonlinear. It has to do with the energetic things, how we are connected to everything in the universe, how we utilize our inner senses, our psychic abilities. That's all the nonlinear things, the female, this left side. So everything that's fallen on this left side has that influence. So we're talking about really, really deep psychological levels, emotional levels, spiritual levels, as well as the physical levels, because this is pointing into the right side, which is everything physical, everything linear. So this is the center, the true center of all levels of your being. We move down. This is the next piece here. This one is about freedom, real freedom. Real freedom is being free of all of the programming from society, all of the what we call the masks that come from this programming, all of the addictions to those masks, all of the asleepness that comes with that. Our society, our culture in the West, modern world here, has promoted us being very, very numbed out, very asleep, not paying attention, not noticing most things going on within ourselves or anything around us. It has promoted our separation from everything in the world so that we feel quite isolated. Very separated, very isolated, and that's the illusion of all of that programming propaganda. True freedom means you really know, because you experience, that you're not isolated. It has nothing about this world or you that is separated. You're connected. You're connected to every single thing in the universe. This whole left side talks about over and over and over again how we are connected to everything and everybody in the universe. Each one of us is unique, a very special, unique individual, and we're exploring that uniqueness, but we are also connected. The connectedness does not make all of that uniqueness disappear. You're not all washed out into a giant oneness that erases all your individuality. You are unique, and you're exploring it. You are a unique individual piece of Creator. That's who and what you are. That's what your center is, with all the energy of Creator beaming out from you, from your center. That's what we're all about. When we are able to be in a state of unconditional love for ourselves, for everybody, everything else in the world, and living that, we are truly free. We are truly, truly free. Nobody can con you. Nobody can lie to you. Because in this freedom is this incredible clarity. You know what's going on. You know, you understand, you can sense, you can read the energies. We have a lot of different levels, types of telepathic awareness, and they get turned on. They become alive. And that is who and what we are. That's our natural state. To have everything all turned off and be numbed out and be asleep, that is an unnatural state. And we, in our culture, have been living in that unnatural state for many, many, many centuries. We've been exploring it. And I'll get to that in more detail. But unconditional love means being awake. If you don't have unconditional love, if everything is conditional, everything has a price, then that's all about being asleep. That's all about what comes from the old part of our culture, our modern Western culture. Everything has a price. As we move down the line, here, this black triangle is very close into the center here. We're getting to the very center circles. This is the Vulture. And Vulture represents unconditional love. Absolute unconditional love. No judgments. Not judging anybody, anything, not self, nothing. Being aware, discerning, but not condemning, not judging. It means a lack of hierarchy. It means there is no better than or less than. It's all about equality and respect, admiration, honoring of self and each other. All other beings, whether they're your children or your mate, your neighbors, your strangers down the street, everybody, everything. Unconditional acceptance of exactly who and what they are. Doesn't matter who and what they are or what they've done or how they've lived their life. It doesn't mean you condone bad behavior. It means that you just accept what is. You accept it for what it is. You don't expect it to be anything else. And you're not throwing black darts at it because you think it's something terrible. Unconditional acceptance, unconditional love. Now, the Vulture represents this because her story is that when Creator was creating the earth and had everything just about ready to go and all the spirits were all lined up to collect their jobs, and nobody wanted garbage collector. They were all going for all the other jobs that they thought were a lot more fun and cleaner and a little more spiffy and all that kind of stuff. Make them look better. No one would take the garbage collector. So the Vulture was the only one. She ended up at the end of the line, and she was the only one willing to take that job. And that's because she loved this Mother Earth and this whole project of Mother Earth so much that she was more than willing to take on that job of garbage collector. She knew she'd be scorned, and they'd laugh at her, and she'd probably smell kind of bad from time to time. But it didn't mean anything to her. That was irrelevant to her. If there is no garbage collector in the project, like a project for Mother Earth, it's not going to happen. It's going to fall apart real fast. So in order to see that it happened and that it worked well, she took the job, and she's had it ever since. There are many cultures that honor the Vulture as the highest, the most revered of all of the spirit animals because of this unconditional love and her willingness to be that garbage collector, be the mother Vulture. We move down the line here, and at the end of the pointer, sitting in the heart space, is the plumed serpent. The plumed serpent describes, we don't really have a right word for it. Closest word is destiny. But it's not a destiny that is set in stone. It's more like a stage that's been set, parameters that has been set that we're moving into. And we have set a new group of parameters, a new stage for us to be on, to play on. We, the humans, and everybody else that is involved with Earth, all the other spirits and beings, we have done this together, outside of time and space. We have made these arrangements, these plans, this design. And the plumed serpent is representing it, sitting straight in the middle of the heart space. The plumed serpent also represents waking up, and it is our destiny, you could say, using that term a little bit loosely here. It is our destiny to wake up as a species, the human species on Earth. We have made that plan a very long time ago. We have been in the middle of like a very long, dark age where we have been asleep. We've been exploring the asleepness. We have been exploring all the dark parts of that, all the dark corners of power over and control, fear, anger, greed, all that stuff, all the nasty, negative stuff. We've been concentrating on it. That has been our purpose in having this society and this culture. This is the sandbox that we designed for ourselves so that we could come in to having a physical life, come here, be in the middle of this, play those things out, and learn them from the inside out. From the Spirit's point of view, we don't really learn anything. We don't understand it on deep, deep levels unless we have experienced it. We have to go through the experience to get the knowingness. So we choose to come, have who knows how many physical lives here on planet Earth, in the middle of all of this chaos and the Holocaust and the horrors, so that we understand what that really is. But we have our own ideas and goals for other times, other places, other reasons that we want this knowledge. And we want to be able to explore it. And that kind of information isn't always open to us as to what that is. But we can be assured that we're collecting it for a very important purpose. We need to know it. The spirits and the Whitakers, the people who taught me this tradition, their way of thinking about our life here, this time, lives before, it's not like this is some sort of a prison planet, or that it's some kind of required place for us to be, or the spiritual kindergarten of the galaxy that we're forced to be in until we get it right. They don't think in those terms. They think that's a bit absurd. The way they see it is that we have ultimate free choice, and we are choosing freely every time we come into a life here. We're choosing to be here. We're choosing the parameters of how we want to live, what century, what culture, what family dynamics, what major things we want to experience during our life, things that we want to learn and understand, things we want to accomplish, different people we want to interact with. We have some agreement with them that we want to play out, like being parent and child, or best friends or lovers. And we set those parameters up. That's basic guidelines on the stage, and all the rest of it is free will. Some of these parameters we may choose not to follow through on. We may decide not to go ahead and marry that person after all, once we're here, and we change our direction, and that's fine. We have the free will to do it. A little hard to change your parents once you're already born. So there's some things on the stage that they're there, we're stuck with for this time around. But it's our choice. And we have a lot of very good, very important reasons for making these choices. This has to do with this plumed serpent. Plumed serpent describes many lifetimes. We've been here many lifetimes. We've been in other kind of places, doing other kind of things, being in other types of bodies or societies, cultures, maybe on other planets. We've been in an awful lot of places for a very long time. We're very, very, very ancient entities. And We choose each one of these things. We choose every little place we want to go to. And we collect all of this together. It becomes part of who and what we are. It becomes part of how we go about doing the next life, and what we have to offer to ourselves, to society, during these lifetimes. The plumed serpent is in the heart. This is our destiny. We're moving to the heart. We're moving from a very aggressive third chakra, take action, take power in the world around you, kind of energy in society. The Whitakers used to call this the backwards turning wheel energy. It's the energy that takes things apart. Now, the universe needs that. They need the energy that goes the other direction, that puts things together. They need things that take things apart, yin-yang. But when you make a society that is based solely on one energy, like taking apart, then you have the opportunity to do what we've been doing with our dark ages and getting heavily, heavily involved in everything that is asleep and dark and violent. We are now moving from that to a positive turning wheel energy and culture. This is of our own design and our own choice. That's why it's our destiny. We've already decided it, and now we are stepping into it. Here's the horizontal midline. That is here and now. The here and now space energy. This is moving out into the future. So as we are moving from this here and now moment out into the future, we are coming closer and closer and closer to an extremely dramatic, changing event, not just for individuals, but for the whole planet, the whole galaxy, everything around us. Major, major changing event. Now, this piece has a partner piece, and that's this one over here on the left foot. That's death. That's the skull. Death. Sit right there in the middle of the foot. We are walking with death. That sounds terrible, but what it really means is that we are walking with change and opportunity. Death is an opportunity. It's a change. And we're walking with it. This is extremely good and extremely healthy. Without the death piece, we cannot let the old, ugly, violent things die away. They have to be let go of. They have to die away. Something has to die. And then we step forward. In order to be free, all of the old hindering blackness, all of that asleepness of the masks, it has to die away. So we now are learning how to walk with death. Right now, it's not fully right side up, but it is on the foot, major placement. And that means coming soon, in the near future, as we get closer to the plumed serpent, this death figure will turn over on the foot. And everything about us, from the deepest levels, our unconscious, subconscious, all emotional levels, all the spiritual levels, everything about us is changing. We're changing, we're waking up, we're going to step through that huge doorway into something very different and very brand new. Now, as we keep going here, what is unconditional love? This one is commitment. Unconditional love has a lot to do with commitment. You have to commit to something like that. You have to commit to wanting to be that way, to think that way, to feel that way, to hold that in your mind. This little piece next to it has to do with your mind and the way you think. You have to decide to do this, to change, to let go, to let yourself be free from all of the old dark garbage and step into this light, this brightness, this freedom, this incredible, bright, centered, glowing freedom. And it's a choice. So the Hedekas and the spirits always say, they say it over and over and over and over again, choice. We have choice. Every minute of the day, we're making a choice. We can choose unconditional love, the Vulture is representing here. We can choose this new way of life that is based on unconditional love and being in our center and our song. And this little one with the blue on it, that's good energies, beautiful, loving, good, clean energies coming to you, going from you, filling the world with it. We can choose that. And in the beginning, right now, we have to choose it from every minute. Every minute, the next minute, the next minute, the next minute. You've got to choose it again and choose it again. That's because we're so heavily addicted to the old ways, the old mental and emotional patterns of judgment and hatred and fear and anger and greed. We have to choose to let it go and let go of that addiction. Now, there's a little piece that's really close into the center here. It's very close to the Vulture. Cute little tiny thing. That's passion. Passion and love and excitement. And it can be romantic passion. It can be sexual passion. It can be passion for being alive. It can be passion for things that you want to do and explore. Your creativity, your job, your fun, your life with your kids, raising those kids. When we are free, when we're living in this unconditional acceptance and love state, everything is full of passion. Everything's beautiful, everything's exciting, everything's fun, everything's new. It's just a passionate thrill from one minute to the next. We can choose that. We're stepping into it. And eventually, everyone that is alive will be living in this kind of a state. We are going there. We've already decided it. There will be those alive on the planet right now whose purpose in life for right now, this time, is to stay stuck in the old darkness, to stay stuck asleep in the fear, in the hatred, in the greed, in the power over, and they'll do that till they die. But as these new kids are being born, and as we make our choices, those alive who want to, and we step into the future. This is the future we're stepping into. The more unconditional love you can bring with it, the more centeredness you can bring with it, the freer you're going to be, the more passionate life is going to be, the more fun, everything is going to be far more interesting and far more fun. Now the next piece in the group over here is the eagle. It's in a position that I don't see very often because that bone does not have the capacity to stand up on its edge like that. So, and this is its way of being totally right side up. So it's expressing its full power. The eagle is clarity of observation, clarity of perception. When you are in your center, when you're free of all the garbage, you're in your song, you're in that life energy, and you're in the unconditional love, and life is fun and exciting, there's good energy everywhere, and you've made that commitment. That state of being provides this outstanding clarity of self, what's going on inside you, who and what you are, clarity in observing others and what's going on with them and things in the world, the spirits, everything that's around us. When the eagle is up like this and there's this extreme clarity of perception, it's not easy to be conned or fooled or tricked. It's not easy to buy into the kind of dark garbage that our culture has been perpetuating and that the powers that be would like you to buy into so that you stay asleep and you don't notice the difference about anything, and they can tell you any lie they want and you believe it. But when the eagle is straight up like this and you have real clarity, you see through it. So this is another one of those gifts, those treasures of being in the center, being in your center, being full of unconditional love, coming from that unconditional love and acceptance place. As we follow the energy line down, we're headed into the right hand. And right on the edge of the right hand is the frog. The frog, her story is that she sings and brings the rain. But she never forces it. She just follows what's going on inside her. She feels love and life and unconditional love and excitement and passion and her friends, and she's just all excited about that. So she follows the passion. And when she does that, she just spontaneously starts to sing. And there's something in the physics and the chemistry of this. The energy goes out, it stimulates the water molecules, they go up and they make clouds, they make rain, and the cycles of water stay alive and moving on the planet. So when she sings, she brings the rain, but she never sings in order to bring the rain, because that would be forcing it. That'd be more like prostitution, and then the rain wouldn't really come. It only works, the magic only works when she's following her true passion and she's singing to express the joy of life, her aliveness. It's the side effect. It's a consequence that it keeps the water cycles moving. So in this indirect way, she's in service to everything that's on the planet itself. So she represents this wanting to take care of and make better and make everything happy and feel right. And people who have this frog medicine, they usually end up being counselors and nurses and doctors and the folks that kind of want to help a lot and take care of and fix things, make the world better. They're the ones who join Greenpeace. You know, they have a burning desire from deep inside to help make things better. They want to share. So here's this piece. It's almost in the hand. It's almost a really good, perfect tool. Very, very close to being a perfect tool. As we learn to live from our own center, and we are free of all the garbage, we're free of all the judgment, we have lots of passion and fun and excitement and clarity, and we're living our truth and committed to it, we are also committed to this frog medicine. We're committed to helping ourselves, taking care of ourselves, not doing things that continually injure ourselves. And we're committed to doing things that help others, but never helping at the expense of another. We don't go out and force ourselves to help other people and others and more and more and more and help and help and help until we're half dead. That would be doing it at somebody's expense, your expense. Doesn't work. You don't get too much done that way. You drop dead too fast. The way the spirits look at it, the way the Whitakers have always lived and taught, is that we do things that are of benefit for ourselves and for others, but never at somebody else's expense. That's what the frog's all about. And we are learning how to do it. The closer we get here, stepping into our future with this unconditional love and being in our center and our song and full of all this life and excitement, the more we do it, the closer we get, this frog will be in the center of the hand. And we will be living a life that is not at the expense of others. With the culture that we've been immersed in modern Western culture, almost everything that happens is at somebody's expense. Sometimes they're death. Sometimes a long, horrible death. That's the name of the game that we've been in for centuries and centuries and centuries. And now it's changing. It's changing. And we are the ones changing it. The more we go for the unconditional love, the more we go for the centeredness and the clarity and the passion, the easier it gets to understand what this frog is all about, to be able to do things that aren't at your own expense, be able to do things that are for yourself that aren't at somebody else's expense. But it's a helping and helping, sharing and sharing, win, win, win. Never at somebody's expense. So that's what unconditional love means. That's what the kind of world would look like if we base things on unconditional love and acceptance. We gave up the judgment. We gave up our addiction to all of our masks and all of the ugliness. That's what that would look like. Now the next pointer, it's the one down here. It's a little bit shorter than the first pointer. It's the middle pointer. And it is also going horizontally. It's in the lower face, and it's going through the mouth. It starts right at the vertical midline, going through the lower mouth, pointing to the left. It's created an energy line that goes off both ends, so it's very, very horizontal line here. And there's several pieces in that grouping. And we'll start off with this one over here that's on the right side of the face, sort of in the chin. Little yellowish piece down here. That's the hawk. That represents our spiritual journey. This is how we're doing the things that we're doing in our life to follow our purpose in this life, to follow this set of parameters that we have set up, that the Plumed serpent kind of describes, this sort of destiny. And we're right on course. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. It's in the perfect place. It's in the perfect lineup here. We've been taking all the right steps at the right time. We're doing very nicely with trying to wake up, trying to clean up our act, trying to move things in a different direction. We got a lot of work left to go to change all of those dynamics, but we're on track. There's a lot of talk out there in different spiritual groups, religious groups, about how off track we are and how terrible we are and how bad we are. The spirits just don't think like that. And according to them, we've done everything in a very good and timely way, maybe even a little tiny bit ahead of schedule. As we move down the line, here's this crescent moon. It's still on the jaw area on the right side, and that is describing our emotional being, our emotional state, and what that has to do with this whole picture. As humans here on Earth, one of the things that we're exploring in a very, very deep, broad way is emotional experience, emotional depths, and all kinds of emotions. All of the negative ones, all the positive ones, and very often we get totally overwhelmed and totally consumed by our emotional states and our emotional beingness. There's something about our emotional nature that is special and unique, and it isn't something that is explored by all the other species, certainly not in the way and the depth that we've been doing it, and that we're going to be continuing to explore our emotions. Sitting next to it is the spider's web. And we've used our emotions to help snare us into the addictions, into being asleep, into getting into really big, deeper and deeper cycles of emotional experience that cave right into the negative side of emotions. And that's all been governed by the masks, our addiction to all the programming, society's programming, and letting that set us off and take us for a ride. And just like a bug that gets stuck in the spider's web, when we do that and we jump into the pit, it's like we've been caught by the spider. The spider injects us with a little narcotic. We're drunker than a skunk. They wrap us all up. We can't move. We can't think. And we don't really care. We're on a ride. We're all juiced up. I'm really juicing up with a big needle. This is one of the ways that we have habitually been taking this very big ride into the negative. It's one of the ways that we get hooked very easily. Now here we are, we're on our spiritual path, we're marching right along. This is the little plant that manages to grow in spite of the odds against it, and that's us. That's humanity here on Earth. We are the little species that have managed to keep growing and keep doing some rather astounding things in spite of ourselves and in spite of all of this negative programming in this whole arena of really harsh, ugly things going on. As we move, we're going right into the vertical midline, and in the mouth, here's the piece for healing. We need a lot of healing. We've been marching in the right direction. We got some good steps going. We kind of headed ourselves in good ways, picking up good pointers. More and more people joining us on this heading into a new and different kind of a world, a waking up. But we got a lot of healing left to do. We have to heal all the old wounds. We've got thousands of years of garbage thought forms, a lot of momentum in our programming, thousands of years worth of it. There's a lot of healing to do to unplug it and let it go and be able to move on. So that's where we are right now, needing lots of that, being willing to do that. It's like being willing to take our medicine. It's in the mouth here. Now down the pointer on either side, we've got stress and anxiety. We got the coyote. We also have over here, not too far away, the magic piece. And here's abundance. So even though where we're at right now, in the middle of what we're doing, trying to step from an old world to a new world, we got a lot of pieces from the old world left behind. We have a lot of stress about heading in a new direction, and what could that possibly be? What could it mean? What's it going to look like? Is that what I really want? Stress and anxiety and tension. And the coyote here, coyote's a trickster, and it's in the position of being a trickster who's favoring the masks and the old programming. So it's going to try to whisper all the old programming stuff to you. Are you sure you want to head in that direction? You know, it might be something really awful there. How are you going to be able to do this in your life and that in your life? Who's going to take care of you? Whispering every little piece of junk that might make you stop. But don't listen. Go for the unconditional love. Go for the heart. Go for the center, for your song, for the passion. And then you'll know you're on the right track. Now we go down the line here, and here's the next piece is the corn mother, which is abundance, potential, and these are like little sister pieces here. This is the magic piece, which is back over by the mouth a little bit. We have an enormous amount of potential. The potential pieces are all up everywhere you look. And even on this second pointer here, it has a little curve. So we follow the line. Here we have one line that comes off like that. And then if we follow the curve, it goes down over here. And there's another potential piece, which is right side up. There's another one again over on the right side with a hand and the foot. So it's on the wrist and the ankle area here. It's right side up. So they're all right side up. In other words, it's going to be hard for us to really mess this up. We have so much potential. We have potential to create whatever we want. Whatever we want. The story with the magic piece, this is represented by the Egyptian goddess Sesheta. She looks wise. She has a little star on the top of her head. You don't see her in much in the books. Very hard to find any pictures of her or anything written about her, because she was almost exclusively left to be talked about in the oral traditions, in the secrecy and the privacy of the temples. She is the female aspect of Thoth, and Thoth is the deity, or as the Egyptians would say, a netter, of learning, the librarian, the scribe, the one who kept all the knowledge intact and kept access to the Akashic records for anybody who wanted to go that way. Now, this is not his wife. This is the female aspect of Thoth, the being Thoth. The Egyptians believed that all these different entities had both male and female aspects to them, and they were outwardly expressing only one of those at any given time. So in the period of Egypt that we know, Thoth was expressing Thoth as male, Thoth. And the secret part was the female part, the hidden. And that's Sesheta. So Sesheta represents the female, the non-linear knowledge, the magic, all the mysteries, everything that is hidden and psychic, and all of the things about traveling through the universe with your mind and your spirit, how we magically connect to everything and everybody, all those kind of things, all that knowledge, she represents it, and she's the guardian. So she's the master of the master of everything to do with magic or manifesting. Now, being a deity, she doesn't succumb to something like our social programming. She doesn't have any masks. She doesn't have any of these hindrances and these racks and stacks of blind beliefs that govern us and make us do all these weird things and believe weird things. She doesn't have any of that. She's a deity. She sees everything clearly and perfectly. So for her, if she wants to manifest something, all she has to do is think it. She knows how to think it. She knows how to go about putting that all together, her thoughts, making the thought form in a picture. Very big, clear picture with all the perfect detail, every little thing all laid out, perfect picture. And when she has that all ready, she just fills it full of life, energy, and passion and excitement, and then lets it out in the universe. As soon as she lets go of it, it manifests physically. So it could be something like Mount Everest outside the back door, and it would be there instantly. No trouble for her, no problem. She can manifest anything she wants, anywhere, anytime, with the greatest of ease. So here is this piece in our path. This is part of who and what we are. This is our potential. This is what we are as human beings on planet Earth. We have the capacity to create this extraordinary manifestation and this magic. For her, it's not magic. To us, as little silly humans, it looks like a lot of magic. But to her, it's just manifesting. It's physics. Multidimensional physics. Poof, there it is. We have that. Magic. Good magic, good mojo, juju. We've been living in the dark ages, the dark of the dark ages. We've had all this programming, all these agendas going on in our culture, on our planet, that puts us to sleep, numbs us out, our senses, our mind, our awareness, our ability to think things through, figure things out. We don't have any clarity. We've been living that way for thousands of years. And we've been told in the middle of all of this that we don't have any magic. Magic doesn't exist, and it certainly doesn't exist in us. We couldn't possibly have any kind of ability to do anything wondrous like that. But the truth is, we do. We do. That's who and what we are. That's what we're all about. That's what's in our DNA. And our DNA is very, very special. We have a collection of DNA from all over this galaxy and probably a few others. And it's all operational. Many pieces of it are asleep, but easily woken up. And that's what this is all about, this magic, this being able to manifest whatever it is you decide. All you have to do is decide clearly, just clearly, what you want. And put it out there. And take action toward it. And it will be there. This is one of the things that comes alive when we wake up, when we get rid of all that programming and the garbage and all the things that are limiting us. And we learn how to be in that center with all that unconditional love, all that unconditional acceptance. This is who we are. This is what we're going to be able to do. We're fantastic beings with incredible potentials. So Shetta is one of the potential pieces, and she's right here, in the middle of everything, the middle of the path. And the spirits are saying there's just no excuses. We don't have any excuses. It used to be we were just so asleep and so just busy being so stupid that was our excuse. There are no excuses anymore. We can't even hide it from ourselves anymore. We're starting to learn about what DNA is and what all these other pieces of it, the first people looking at the genes called junk DNA. It's not junk. It's very interesting stuff, and it comes from all over the galaxy. We've been bestowed with many people's different types of gifts, and they all work in us. They're all together, they're all unified, and they all have the potential to work in us. That's why we're so unique. So, no excuses. You have the ability. And one of the things that is pretty ironic, even though we're very, very asleep, a lot of people in our culture, and we're numbed out, we're not paying attention, we can't notice or consciously, purposefully utilize this kind of a gift. Your subconscious is using it. You get into anger, you get into fear about something, and you dwell on it and worry about it, get in a big spiraling snit. You literally manifest that to you. You're bringing it to you. You bring all those ugly things that you're afraid of into your life more and more and more and more. This mechanism of manifesting these things that you're thinking about is working. It's just that we tend to be so scattered that we haven't been able to track it very well. But if you stop and pay attention, you'll see it. So let's move on down the line a little more. We'll go over here to the Corn Mother. She's another kind of potential, good, big potential. She's right side up. She's all about abundance, any kind of abundance. Abundance of learning, abundance of being in your song, abundance of love, abundance of money, abundance of food, abundance of friends, abundance of anger, abundance of of starvation, whatever kind of abundance you're dwelling on. This is what we create for ourselves. Whatever kind of abundance that you are dwelling on, war and violence, all that stuff, we're creating it. We're bringing it into being on our planet. Now, like I said earlier, this has been our general purpose for our entire species for thousands of years here on planet Earth. We've come here specifically to explore that dark side. And now we're done. And we can take all the toys and goodies, all the things that we've learned, all these extraordinary potentials about who and what we are and what we can do, and utilize them in a very different direction. So if you're tired of creating an abundance of starvation and war and greed and power over and treachery and all these nasty things, turn your attention to unconditional love. Turn your attention to your own song, finding out who and what that is. What is your song? What is your center? What's your truth? Who are you? Find that out for you. Find the unconditional love that is part of who and what you are as an entity. That's the quality of what your entity is. It's not like a separate emotion, like fear is a separate emotion that is emoted. This unconditional love is what we are as an entity. This passion, this excitement for being alive. This is the feeling quality of your entity, of who and what you are. When you follow it, you explore it, you encourage it, you keep going back to it and feeling it more and more and more, then you're able to be there with it. You're able to hold on to that part of who and what you are and let go of all the destructive, mask-controlling propaganda things that you have grown up with, all this addiction that you've grown up with. If you follow the unconditional love, you can let go of all the rest. So, what do you choose? Back to choice, back to committing to something. What are you choosing? Are you going to choose the abundance of things that are going to be a lot more fun? Here's this curve coming down, and it's pointing to more potential. More potential, more potential. We have no excuses. The last line, the third, the smallest little pointer, is right over here on the right side. It's in the lower right torso area. It's going kind of diagonally. And there's a whole lot of stuff over there. It's got a crowd of things going all over from the face through the groin area, the leg, the foot, and it is pointing from down and from the lower face down through the center of the torso, and then it goes through the plumed serpent in the heart, and then just keeps going right up, out into the future. Now, if we follow this line down, the piece that's in this arena here, on this side where it's starting, this is in the lower face area here, this white piece. That one represents our modern Western culture and all of the negative aspects of it. Here we have this, back down here is more past. This is going more towards future. This is where we've been. This has been our focus, our highlight. This has been the center of our attention. It's what we look at. It's been the way we see. This piece sits right next to the eye here. It's been governing how we see, what we see, how we see. And in the eye here, this is very sad, empty, loss, pain, and with it here is what we've been identifying with. This is the earth next to it, which is upside down. So in our past, we've been identifying with cutting ourselves off from the earth, a very sick earth getting sicker and sicker, and us getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And as we move up the line here, we're crossing over some pieces that were on the second line. So that's accentuating them, their attention. Here's the emotions, here's the spider, here's the hawk, here's the little plant that, like the little engine that could. That's us. And so here's our attention moving through time. We're on our path, we're walking our walk, we're in a dark, ugly place. Here's fear. Here's all of this linear energy that's been twisted to control. This black curved piece right here, that one is our creativity. And it has to do with being able to open the door between the linear and the nonlinear and utilizing the two of them, exploring the world and bringing it back so that we have all kinds of things from the whole universe to be able to be part of our world and our lives. We have that potential in ourselves, our creativity. She's represented by the Egyptian cat goddess Bast. She represents that unifying and utilizing together the linear and the nonlinear. So here it's upside down. It's on this piece that represents really nasty outside energies with very nasty intent that would like to keep us asleep, that have helped design for centuries and centuries, designing our world in this very, very asleep, dark, nasty place. A lot of fear, not being able to talk to spirits, everything hiding, everything separated, everything hidden, tension. This is what we're coming out of. As we move right underneath the end of the pointer, which is on the edge of the torso here. So it's kind of close to the leg, it's kind of close to the groin birthing area. This is addiction. It's near the first chakra neighborhood. We have been astoundingly addicted to all of the dark things, all of the manipulation, the asleepness, all of that propaganda, all our masks. That's what the Whitakers call it. All that junk they call our masks, because we internalize it and we force ourselves to live with it and live through it, and give control over to all of this, the mask energies and the beliefs that are in there, and the fears and angers and nasty emotions that are in there. We just give all our power away to that. Let that in the driver's seat. Let them make all the decisions and take control. They decide what thoughts that we're going to have, what emotions we're going to have, what actions we're going to take, everything. The masks decide everything as long as we're asleep and we let them do it. And we're addicted to it. We are extremely addicted. So that's our first big hurdle right now, to get over that addiction. When it comes to being in relationships, we're addicted to all of the old programming and all of the old patterns that allow us to interact mask to mask. We're addicted to all of the old ways of judging and pointing and having to find blame with each other, to find something wrong with the other person. We're always having to find something wrong with ourselves. If we're going to have relationships that are real, that are really true and deep and caring and loving, any kind of relationship, we have to begin to give up this addiction. We have to give the addiction to all the old programming, patterning, masks. Give it up. Let go. Out of our lives. We have to make that choice, make the commitment to go back to our center and our song and to waking up, to finding out who and what we are, to really looking for and feeling and holding on to that essence of unconditional caring, unconditional acceptance, unconditional love, no judgments, no blaming, totally unconditional, with lots of respect, honoring, admiring the other, and yourself. So here we are. Another piece that the pointer is on is our purpose in life, our purpose for this life, individually and in group. We are here to finish off the end of this old world. We're here to do the last little bits of learning about what all this dark side, being asleep, programming is all about, and then to unplug it, to give up the addiction, walk out of the addiction, unplug all that mask stuff, and find out who we are. What's underneath? What's the real stuff underneath? What's the goods underneath? Who are we? What is this beautiful centered thing over here? This entity that is so ancient and so vast and so full of knowledge and goods and tools and toys. We need to find out who that is, who we are, what it is, what it feels like, and to own it, to begin to own it. In the middle of all that feeling is the unconditional love, because that's who and what we are. That's the basic feeling nature of who and what we are. That's our entity. And when we come from the center, we come from that unconditional love, we are being it, we're offering it out. We touch another with it. It changes them forever. It changes everything. They're changed for the rest of their life and for many lives beyond that. They're changed. You're changed. And we begin to build this world here that is this dream, this world here of unconditional love with all the brightness and the clarity and the passion and the fun and the sharing and the win-win-win. It has to start inside each and every one of us. Each and every one of us has the responsibility to make that choice. Now this line goes right through the plumed serpent, so it's catching the clarity of the eagle again. It's catching all this beautiful, golden, glowing, good energy going back and forth between people. It's catching the unconditional love, the choice and commitment, and just marching out into our future. Now, out there in the future, there isn't too much sitting there. We haven't created a whole lot of it yet. It's up to us to decide what the picture is. We have to dream up the dream of that picture. What is it that we want to make? What kind of world? What do the details look like? What do you want all of your institutions to look like? What do you want all your relationships to look like? What do you want your politics to look like? What do you want society to look like? Do you still want to have asphalt roads all over the planet covering up all the earth? Do you want that to change? Do you want something different? How do you want your water or your air? How do you want the interaction between people? Whether it's a stranger in the store, you're only going to be talking to them for a minute. What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? How about the relationship between you and your kids, you and your parents? How about you and your friends, your best friends? How about your lover? What's that going to look like? What do you want it to look like? We have the power to make it look like anything that we want. We want it, whatever we want it to be. We have the power to create that. We just have to make the choice and the commitment and take the steps, let go of all the old garbage, and step in to the new. Step into the truth. We've been living in a lot of lies. A huge ocean of lies. And now we're going to be stepping into the truth. So what is your truth? How do you want these things to be? What would you like your lover to be like and say to you, and respond to you? Every day, all day long. We're talking about, all day long. Behind the doors, when you're home alone. No one else is there to hear you or see you. In the old way, the old system, in the past, what typically goes on behind those doors? A lot of nasty, snide comments and judgments and power over and a lot of fear, anger. If you want that to change, you can change it. Because that's who and what we are, and that's the time that we're in. We're in this time of massive shifting. It couldn't be any more dramatically spoken about with these bones. In the heart. We're moving into the era of the heart. The era of truth and clarity and honesty and respect and unconditional love and accepting. We're marching right into it. Here on both feet. We're marching with death, with change. Here on the other foot is the jaguar, right side up. Jaguar speaks about your power and owning your power owning your own truth, and being able to decide what you want for yourself and setting out to do it. Nobody else telling you what to do or what you have to do or what you should do, but figuring it out for yourself and taking action. Making the picture yourself, just like Sasheta, the goddess, making the picture yourself. What it is that you want. And bringing it into being, because that's the nature of who and what we are. And that's what the bones have spoken for today.
First of all, thank you to you, and thank you to the spirits. It was as amazing as I was hoping it would be. And then some.
It is always an incredible privilege to be able to throw the bones. Always an honor. An unbelievable honor. So thank you all. And the audience.
Lots of love to everybody.
Lots of love. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.